Today we're going to make these easy turkey crafts, which would also make a great Thanksgiving gift.
For today's craft, you're going to need some glue, scissors, a pencil. I have googly eyes, but you could always make eyes if you don't have any. I have paper in a variety of different colors. I'm using fall colors today. I have a tiny little jar. You could use a jar in whatever size you would like. And I have something to put in my jar. I'm using little chocolate chips. You could put anything in your jar. I just happen to be using those today. So go ahead, grab what you have, and let's get started. The very first thing I want to do is fill my jar and get that filled up and over with. Now, you can fill your jar with anything. I just happen to have these chocolate chips, and they happen to be the color brown, which is the color of my turkey. So I'm going to use these chocolate chips and just pour them right into the jar. Now my jar is fairly small, so I don't need a lot of chocolate chips. And there we go. This will be fun to kind of use your imagination to determine what you would like in your jar. If you're giving this as a little gift to someone, then you might want to find something that they would like to snack on. So you now have these as a little snack. Then I am going to put the lid on my jar. So there it is. The color of my jar is now a brown from the chocolate chips. I am going to take my 3 colors. Now, these are going to be the feathers for my turkey. When I'm using these colors, I'm using them because they're more fall colors, turkey colors, but you could use any colors you want. And mine are all about the same size. So I'm going to take the 3 pieces and I am going to just put them together, and I'm going to fold them over. So I put them together and I've folded them. When you are determining the size of your feathers, it's going to be about the size of whatever your container is. So this is my container. I want my feathers to go fairly high and around. So I just want to use my container to determine, what size do I want? So if I put my container here, I'm thinking I want my feathers to come up and around. Now, you don't have to do yours rounded. You could do them more as a point at the top. I just happen to like the rounded shape, so that's what I'm going to do. I've got this folded. I'm going to take my pencil to the bottom of my piece of paper here, and I'm going to curve up and around. So I'm going to start. I'm going to come up all the way to the top. I'm going to curve to make it a circle, or not a circle, but a curved line, and come back down. Now, I'm just going to double check. It's quite large. I might want to go a little bit smaller. So I just might come in and make it a tiny bit smaller. I can always trim it after. So whenever you're happy with the shape, then you are going to cut it out. When you're cutting, just hold all those pieces of paper together and you will end up with multiple feathers. There, I have them all cut out. Now, if something went wrong, don't worry. You can always cut them out one by one by one. That is up to you. I do have some extra paper here that I am going to use. So the first thing I want to do is just trim a little bit off. And I want to make a beak and a wattle. A wattle is that little red thing that comes off the side of a turkey. So I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to go from the bottom here and just kind of curve in, out, up, in, out. So here it just kind of looks like a little worm. And then I'm going to cut that out. Before I do that, I am going to take this orange piece of paper and I am going to fold it over. And on the fold line, so this is my fold line, I'm going to draw a triangle. So this is my fold line. I'm going to just put a dot up here and a diagonal line to this corner, a dot here, a diagonal line to that corner, and that should work out nicely, and I'm going to cut that out. Now we are ready to do some gluing. I am going to be gluing my beak, my eyes, and my wattle to the front. Now careful, this rolls a little bit, so just be mindful of that when you are gluing. Now we are ready for the feathers. You can decide ahead of time what pattern you want them in, if you want them in a pattern. And then when you are gluing them, you're not gluing them to the lid, you're gluing them to the back of the jar because you want to be able to take your lid off. So you're going to make sure when you glue them to the back of the jar. And then just check the size. Make sure that you like them. If you need to trim them, now's the time to do it. And you're just going to arrange and glue until you like what it looks like. So go ahead and just start placing those. Now you can see they're being a little bit finicky here. So I'm just going to glue these 3 together first and then see if I can get them onto the back of my jar. That might be a little bit easier. My jar seems to be a little bit slippery, so then I'm just going to hold them down and that should work. That seems to be better, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to try to maybe glue these 3 together. I think because they're a little bit larger, because this didn't happen the last time. So if you use smaller feathers, it might be a little bit easier. And then I'm just going to glue those down. Don't give up. And you do have to hold them. So just make sure you hold them until they stick. And there we go. Thanks for joining me on Craft Club for Kids. Remember, be creative and have fun.